You're listening to the news from the National Broadcasting Commission in Papua New Guinea. The organizer of Papua New Guinea's independence celebrations, Mr. David Marsh, said today that he believes all the necessary preparations will be completed in time for independence on September the 16th. Mr. Marsh said some reshuffling of plans will be necessary as the Independence Day itself will now be on a Tuesday. It was originally proposed that the celebrations would be held over 3 days, Saturday to Monday. Mr. Marsh said that subject to the Chief Minister's and Cabinet's approval, Sunday the 14th could now be the National Day of Prayer. Flag-lowering ceremonies would be late on Monday, independence celebrations themselves on Tuesday the 16th, and the proposed National Day of Sport the next day. Mr. Marsh said
It is August 1975 in Papua New Guinea, a country of ancient cultures which has in the time span of one lifetime been colonized by Germany, Britain and Australia, invaded by Japan, and finally by a mandate from the United Nations administered by Australia and introduced to the world of the 20th century. Throughout hundreds of islands, in the towns and in thousands of villages, the people are hearing the news. Their country will become an independent nation on September the 16th, 1975, and they're getting ready.
Mi pala to mikim des pala walk long cabin na good pala long gaban bro mi pala salem toki kam. Ito ki pala wakim belong Yumi present long independent now. Or same na mi pala wakim sampala igo long ABC belong mi pala long gagi do emi kisim baim sampala na. Igo inap na emi to des pala inap long Yumi present long gaban bro Yumi long independent come up now. Des pala or same na mi pala ista. Brong alawim country na brong Yumi Strait.
Hurry up now. Angolan sabi strip ni lol mamrang sepik. Na mi play work adu na Australia na mi lol. Teresim develop independent mas income people on the work. President Australia. Asana na mi lol kata man meli blang Angolan town or lol kata Angolan meli mi play buat na mi play work adu na Australia. They belong independent, he crossed to now. But he marking was 16th of September. The middle worry through on the second, the middle walk out, the middle in the barrel. It was a walk Saturday, Sunday, 6 o'clock to past 6. But middle walk, Minnesota, I didn't buy the finishing or in the tram. Suppose we were still a man, I didn't buy the finishing.
Canton County. Legislation was introduced into the Australian House of Representatives today to provide for Papua New Guinea to become independent on September 16th. The Prime Minister and Minister representing the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Mr. Gough Whitlam, said the 5 bills represented an historic piece of legislation for Papua New Guinea, Australia, and for the European civilization from which Australians came. He described the introduction of the legislation as the last episode in the post-imperial European decolonization. One of the bills, the Papua New Guinea Independence Bill, seeks to allow the Papua New Guinea Constitution to come into effect after Australia's administration ends on September the 15th. Mr. Whitlam said the new constitution will adopt only those laws which Papua New Guinea desires to continue as law.
Independence. Because independence is getting close, we like to learn the meaning of the word independence. Class, today, what does the word independence mean? Sarah?
It means freedom.
Good boy. Any other answers besides?
It means not to depend on someone.
Good girl. Independence in English means looking after ourselves. More to looking after ourselves bedaka betatuma. You know?
Independence and in namutu ay besiwa da baita hena.
Namuhera dika. Ya nina itasiboda baita hena. Dia nau sebenarnya kamu. Pun nari tak bahaya gere. An. Ibu melalu punya para. Oh. Nggak dinai independence ay daka betakaram.
Betalam ina betarakam. Anu betalam bona. Tamam takadaram bona ni ma betake.
Tudina. Tu beraka bukaram nggak dinai.
Launa na hegai independence dinana baina makayabe egurami bona. Egu ageva na hegai independence dinana baina mawaru bona bamoko da baina ma.
Tumbora kamu nggak dinai. Independence dinai.
Oh, ini barakam narakam waru rebena la dubu aida. Egu flag bena dawe an inamai. Australia flag na bena yadobi. Papua New Guinea flag na bena hadai.
Eileen?
I will prepare some songs for the Independence Day, and on that day I will sing those songs.
Okay. What are you getting ready for that independence?
Before the Independence Day comes, I will prepare my uniform ready for September 16th, and on that day I will wear it and march from here to the village.
Class, I would like someone to get out and write the word independence in motto, in our language, motto. Maimu?
The Queen's representative at Papua New Guinea's independence celebrations is to be Prince Charles. The Independence Celebrations Committee has received notice that the Queen has invited Prince Charles to be her representative. The Governor-General of Fiji and the Fijian Prime Minister, Ratu Serkamisesewara, have also accepted, along with the President of Nauru, Mr. Hemad Robert, and his wife. Meanwhile, traditional gifts to be presented to our official guests for the celebrations are being prepared in villages all over the country. Activities planned in the districts as part of Papua New Guinea's independence celebrations will combine the traditional with the modern. At Angoram in the East Sepik District, Independence Day celebrations include canoe races on the Sepik River, the opening of a rebuilt house tambaran, bicycle races, other sporting events, and a traditional feast. You're listening to the news from the National Broadcasting Commission in Papua New Guinea.
Papua New Guinea's new society was shaped by contact with people from other parts of the world, starting more than 500 years ago. But the impact of the white man was felt for the first time only a century ago. In 1873, a British naval officer, Captain John Moresby, sailed into a harbour on the southeast coast where the capital, bearing his name, now stands. More and more, the white man began to appear. He came to trade with bolts of cloth, axes and knives, mirrors and trinkets, trading for sandalwood and beige de mer. They came as recruiters, blackbird as they were called, to lure young men to work as cheap labourers on the sugarcane fields of North Queensland, Australia. The 19th century, the great imperial powers of Europe divided the island between themselves. The western half, now Irian Jaya, a province of Indonesia, was claimed by Holland in 1828. In 1884, Germany claimed the northeastern quarter. And in the same year, Commodore James Erskine arrived at Port Moresby and other coastal settlements to claim the southeastern quarter in the name of Great Britain.
Now, I, James Elphinston Erskine, establishing a protectorate of Her Most Gracious Majesty over a portion of New Guinea, has directed me to proclaim such protection in a formal manner at this place.
You're with National Radio in Papua New Guinea in 1975, Independence Year.
This is the news from the NBC, read by Anton Kaut. Independence is just over a week away, and as officials make the final preparations, one of their major concerns is the weather. Many of the activities are outdoors. One is the spectacular fireworks display scheduled for 1 minute past midnight on September the 16th. This will last for between 10 and 20 minutes, but wet weather could dampen the enthusiasm of spectators. Rain could also affect a number of school pageants being organized throughout the country. Schools are expected to organize sporting events and sing-sings on Monday, September the 15th, and much effort has gone into preparing for the day. Members of the House of Assembly will be able to bring their wives to Port Moresby for Independence Day celebrations. But members with more than one wife may bring only one.
Hili pa kuna huta da to ma ita pensi mo kuna huta ma kuna no fruta mo me ala no lo ga ina nagi safa bona ba bishimi hala beto ma ana go no shete to minyaru nel.
He says, my father says, Papua, we are all in Papua New Guinea, and we just have independence in September 1975, and he's glad. But he does not want all the Europeans to go out of Papua New Guinea. He wants them to stay back, and we just work together in Papua New Guinea. And myself think, we Papua New Guineans, we have this independence. I am very glad of we are having independence. And we Papua New Guineans are new nations in the world, and we are joining in everything through the world. And I'm very glad of Michael Somare, John Guys, and all these people, the member of House of Assembly.
Looking back, in 61, when I first envisaged the independent state of Papua New Guinea and its flag and its national anthem and its constitution, when people sort of slammed me and said I was rather communistic-minded, I was rather pinkish or reddish, I was extremely left, that I was a man ahead of my time, I did not dream that I would be able to live through those turmoil days to witness this.
A lot of people in this country thought, well, we wouldn't be able to do it. They were talking in terms of 2 or 3 decades, while I was talking in terms of few years. One stage in Australia, I said, oh, I don't see it, you know. I cut out myself to be the Prime Minister. I think that's one of my quotations in Australian paper. I never thought, you know, by forming the first political party that we would be able to see it through. But then when I know that I had a lot of support from young Papua New Guineans, I thought, well, I think we should be able to make it.
Ready? Let me know enough. Tiamon, you're winning this number 2 crotch along double bar. Strong more yet. Once more. Rolls. 1, 2.
Good morning. This is the news from the National Broadcasting Commission in Papua New Guinea. The national government has urged all public servants throughout Papua New Guinea to involve themselves in independence celebrations. The chairman of the Public Service Board, Mr. Serapitoi, said independence is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and the government wants to make it a great success. The Independence Day Committee is still tackling the problem of suitable dress standards for the independence celebration. The committee's suggestion for night formal wear is dark slacks, long-sleeved white shirt, shoes and short socks, or dark-tailored rami and sandals and long-sleeved white shirt for men. There are no recommendations for women other than to say they will complement the men's fashion.
Toto, you hurry up and put the dog's teeth on. You want to? Here, to my bed, to my bed, here. Oi, me aquí, oi, okay, oi, tava, oi, tela. They are very happy with me in the midst, talking and laughing at their dressing me up like a young girl, they say. That's the way they're laughing at me. They say, I'm a young girl now. It's too late now to be old, they say. For the independence, they made me young again.
This is the news from the NBC, read by Tony Bray. First, the main points. Visitors to Papua New Guinea's independence celebrations continue to arrive at Jackson's Head. The first aircraft to complete the Independence Air Race about to cross the finish line. And people all over Papua New Guinea taking part in independence celebrations, but a few in the Western Highlands reported not to have heard of independence. Visitors to Papua New Guinea's independence celebrations continue to arrive at Jackson's airport. This morning, an Air Nauru jet brought President Hamadi Robert of Nauru, along with his wife and a party of 4 officials. The Indonesian Foreign Minister, Mr. Adam Malik, was among a 7-man Indonesian party to arrive.
NBC Papua New Guinea News long talk Pujinikam long Port Moresby Gabriel Vaka by Radium. Walk long one pla Papuan man long walk him ren long Pasimal celebration long independence long Port Moresby. Now
the attempt by a Papuan rainmaker to mar independence celebrations in Port Moresby will fail, according to a prominent Papuan magistrate and grandson of a well-known traditional rainmaker, Mr. Andrew Mino. Last week, a so-called rainmaker, said to be a member of the Papuan separatist group, staged a rain dance to bring rain to Port Moresby's Independence Day celebrations. However, according to the secretary of the village court secretariat, Mr. Mino, the rainmaker was wasting his time. Mr. Mino, whose grandfather claims to have successfully brought rain in the past, has confidently predicted that it is going to be fine in Port Moresby for the celebrations. The National Weather Service is in agreement. It has forecast mainly fine weather throughout the country on Tuesday and Wednesday.
All public servant long Angoram area, and all school piccaninny now it come up. Now by you look him flag belong Australia, by you go down and mark him one pillar ceremony by this flag belong Australia, Enoch and more on inside long country belong Upella, Papua New Guinea. Tomorrow, big pillar day belong Yumi, people belong Papua New Guinea, by flag belong Papua New Guinea, yet you go on top. Now by policeman by down in flag, by you heard him all school pickaninny barley sing, God save the Queen, and we'll mark him this or something now we talk all the same long end.
Tok now. Today, we got people day to long. How much day come up close to? Now me thank you because Australia got many people time. Time no good. Papa na tupuna, it's not time no good yet. Now Emi come straight to me, hold him, follow money one time. Now this country, Emi walk, he come now, he come close to finish. He come now, me no up till, all same, me talk, Australia, Emi no God. Australia must stand up close to, from backside from me. You there, me got to give la hamamas more. Thank you, go back, go same. Panic! Slow! Us!
As soon as they took the flag down, many of us, young boys, young girls, school children, everybody were crying. Myself, I was crying there standing. As his hand take flag to Prince Charles, we were crying. Many of the women like we were crying because we know that the poor Europeans came to teach us the right way, not the wrong way, to go on the right side, not to go on the left. That's why they are departing from us, and we were crying and crying. We couldn't stop nearly half an hour. When then Priest Charles was talking, we didn't look up, but we were still crying and crying. When John Guy told him that the Australian flag is returning, no one took their heads up. Everybody went back, we were crying. You know, we couldn't help crying, we were still crying.
You're listening to National Radio. It's now 7 o'clock. This is the news from the NBC, read by Johnny City. First, the main points. Independence is only 5 hours away. The Australian flag has already been lowered for the last time. 2 new knighthoods in a special independence honours list. Police happy with the way independence celebrations have gone so far. And Papua New Guinea independence celebrations in Bougainville will go ahead despite boycott threats by secessionist leaders. Now the news in detail. Independence is 5 hours away. The independent state of Papua New Guinea will be born at midnight with a 101-gun salute and the goodwill and congratulations of nations throughout the world. At 1 minute past midnight, the Governor-General of Papua New Guinea, Sir John Guise, will announce a state of independence in an NBC radio broadcast to the new nation. At the same time, Papua New Guinea's formal links with Australia will be severed, and the new homegrown constitution will come into force. Dr. Guise's announcement will follow addresses to the nation by the Chief Minister, Mr. Sumare, and the Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Te Aba. Messages of goodwill, congratulations, and best wishes for the throughout the world. More rain is forecast for Port Moresby tonight, and the National Weather Service says showers tomorrow. His Royal Highness Prince Charles and other visiting dignitaries will now be able to travel on sealed roads tomorrow all the way to Independence Hill at Waigani. Workmen working on the Waigani Civic Drive from the main Waigani Drive to Independence Hill have been racing against time to complete the sealing before tomorrow.
Imported all the way from Tasmania. Good old Larry Adler. Yeah, and Gabriel has asked me to play this one.
Today's rain might cause transport problems for dancers trying to go to the main centres for tomorrow's celebrations. Meanwhile, the international press have been running a betting book on whether the Papua Besena Rainmaker will produce the goods tomorrow. Last night, he was an outsider at 50-1. But overcast skies this morning brought him down to firm favorite at 6-4. You're listening to the National Radio in Papua New Guinea for broadcasting. We bring you now an address to the nation by the Honourable Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Te Aba.
Now, Emi one brande in Papua New Guinea. Emi one brande, Yumi by Tingi. Na Oropini in Yumi.
And now the address to the nation by the Honourable the Chief Minister, Mr. Michael Sumare.
Today, our young nation takes possession of the prize which marks our people's determination and hard work. This country and its people now enter independence and sovereignty, and as from now, we will be counted among the family of nations. We have talked about this day, we have planned for it, worked for it, and look forward to it.
I know that every man, woman and child of our new nation shares this moment of pride and happiness with one heart to join in celebrating our independence.
Papua New Guinea is now independent. The constitution of the independent state of Papua New Guinea, under which all power rests with the people, is now in effect. We have at this point in time broken with our colonial past, and we now stand as an independent nation in our own right.
radio broadcasting on Independence Day. The time is 6:30.
Good morning, true. Here now, national news long talk. Virginia Cam long NBC long Port Moresby, Douglas Dart, Iridium. Today, me people day true long all celebration long look in the independent state long Papua New Guinea. Long Port Moresby today, triple big ceremony or boom one time by Makim come up long Papua New Guinea, also monthly nuclear country. Long Independence Hill long Wegani, all by pulling me go and flag long Papua New Guinea, long Makim come up long display nuclear country, na Prince Charles baba up him national parliament.
So Papa mi pali bung here today, long honoring you. Mi pali bung here today, long asking you by you bless him Ohama Master mi pala. Mi pali bung here today, long asking you by and by you bless him Chief Minister, long member below mi pala, by and by all he can straighten good, sit down, and work in this new pala something, country below Papua New Guinea straight. Mi pali asking you all this pala something, long name belong Christ, the Lord below mi pala.
Now me like ask him, Father Dwyer belong Catholic Mission long Angorum, long give him sample of talk, now blessing flag belong Yumi long Papua New Guinea.
This little flag here, he also marked, belong show him, all go to Papua New Guinea, he like come up one line, now one bell. God, you talk, suppose God, he no stand by long old man, time all he work him house, work long all, by and by, all he lose nothing. Now me fella ask him you, long time, long blessing this fella flag. Stand by long this fella country, Papua New Guinea. All saying, well, people belong him, he can't stop one bell true. Now good for the time, he stop all time, all time. Now be blessing this for the flag, long name belong Papa, now belong Son, now belong Spiritu Santo.
Alright. Biyahin long kay tasol. Bay sama sipulay stop na arim garamuti pirate. Despulay itok sabe long ipula sem. Resist long kanu now, bay come up. Long time all man only resist long kanu. By all picking in school. Bali pull long all kanu. Now only throw away all this bottle. Only ready and finish. Stop. Behind long resist long kanu. All kataman by one tap can long pulipuang. Long what him all can resist by staban tap. Resist all sem pull him rope. Sell him try. Grab him try. Walk him basket.
From the NBC, read by Joe Kemp. Papua New Guinea's own flag now flies alone over the country. At approximately 10:30 this morning, the Papua New Guinea flag was hoisted on Independence Hill at Waigani in Port Moresby. One of the largest crowds ever to assemble anywhere in Papua New Guinea surrounded the hill. By the time the Governor General, Dr. John Guise, and Prince Charles arrived, about 20,000 people had gathered. Dr. Guise handed the flag to the commander of the Defense Force, Brigadier General Biro, and asked him to raise the flag on behalf of the people of Papua New Guinea. Shortly after the raising of the flag, a fresh breeze blew up and the flag fluttered fully.
Papua New Guinea Pepe, Idia Todaiko, Bona Sikuli member of the Kenny Memoria, Gabu or Milbe Gabulonai, Sikuli member of Canadian Mai, Nai Hello Lona Divaria, Hari Dinadic, Mari Medusina, Mari Dinadic, Gay Naibe, Nai Loni Kaya Velasi, tell you no more by my idea, Umbrella Bona, Hideaway, Sikuli member of Canadian Mani people, Namuri Gabutua, Seneca. Hideaway in Brandon.
They got all good plus something and talong pos. He got money, he got cigarettes, he got tobacco. Now all, he got 5 kina, all put him on talong pos. They got all good plus something and tell us to stop. Long put him tea inside. That long night you call and you drink tea inside long time. 1, 2, 3.
Australia's 29-year-old United Nations trusteeship over New Guinea was formally terminated today at a brief ceremony at United Nations headquarters in New York. Papua New Guinea is expected to apply for United Nations membership sometime during the General Assembly session, which begins later today, our time.
Now, in the time when I'm going to play finish now, all money right now, looking pause or good luck close this time, good luck shot too. Long you looking the last shot of you putting long singing blow, man, but sing blow hamas mo moyet ya. Now all money looking nothing, only success through ya, long time this post now. I think only success through la.
The Australian Prime Minister, Mr. Gough Whitlam, said today that Australia will continue to support Papua New Guinea. He said that although a special kind of relationship between Australia and Papua New Guinea is coming to an end, certain things will not end. Mr. Whitlam said the friendship between the two countries and the trust and confidence each felt towards the other will continue. In other news, Palestinian guerrillas agreed to leave the Egyptian embassy, but will take their 3 hostages with them to Algiers. And police in America shoot dead an armed man who attempted to hijack a jet aircraft.
Beginning block Queen 2 eme mamas na mila kam luki miselo. Harens now na mi block hamas na road stop now say na mi. Radio must be come now or say na mi talk out this pala talk blow me.
Road what is it?
Emi to consento.
Bolmonito, kibiate, ke baru kabati. Hari yang mulai nonton. Rono ati mo kotor mo jori mo na ene penisi bana. One ba bini to senta bulu ya mama sina bana boner.
All right, naban luluway talk. Luluway blow before. Emi talk before all policemen. Emi ali abi mi plan go through. All right, now me plan me give me come now. Now me plan come up independence. All right, now me come up good now. Now you plan picking in the me plan. You plan no can strike. Oh, big plus son, you know can strike. My son up son, make him say walk through. Now get up in place blow you good. I'm talking the same.
Papua New Guinea on Sunday to represent the Queen at independence celebrations. During his tour, the Prince saw several displays of tribal dancing and was seen by tens of thousands of Papua New Guineans. He arrived back in Port Moresby shortly after 4 o'clock this afternoon, and after meeting tour officials and senior government officers, he boarded an aircraft of the Royal Australian Air Force for Darwin. Twins are among 9 babies born at the Port Moresby General Hospital on Independence Day. The babies, a boy weighing 1.8 kilograms and a girl weighing 1.6 kilograms, and their mother are reported to be doing well. The rainmaker hired by the Papuan separatist group to disrupt Papua New Guinea's independence celebrations could be looking for a new job. The National Weather Service said that on Independence Day, the national capital recorded only 0.8 of a millimeter, and yesterday no rainfall was registered, although there was some light sprinklings of rain throughout the city area. A spokesman for the National Weather Service said the dry conditions are normal for this time of year, and he expects them to continue.
The Security Council of the United Nations has unanimously recommended UN membership for Papua New Guinea. The new state of Papua New Guinea, which became independent last week, will be the World Organization's 142nd member when its application is formally approved by the General Assembly. United Nations sources said this is likely early next month. Some people in the Middle Musa area of the Afore sub-district in the Northern District will be celebrating Papua New Guinea's independence next Monday. Two members of the Taruba Independence Celebrations Zone, Mr. Banau and Mr. Bebea, said the people did not celebrate last week as they were scared of being killed by wars, bombings, or unusual happenings during the celebrations. They told the NBC's Popondetta office today that people in the Taruba zone covering 12 villages were now sure that nothing bad had happened, and so they will celebrate independence next Monday. You're listening to the news from the National Broadcasting Commission in Papua New Guinea.